Yeah, I would say molecular gastronomy is a field of science. Um, I would say it's probably lumped under chemistry, maybe, because cooking, while it has certainly biology and some physics, it's mostly chemistry. But molecular gastronomy was a term coined by scientists to describe the work that they were doing in an effort to understand what's happening to the food that we eat, or the food that we cook. I'm sorry, what's happening to food as we cook it, as we put it through a myriad of physical, mechanical processes. People like Harold McGee and Nicholas Curti. Nicholas Curti is one of the scientists that coined the term, along with Harold, Hervé and some other people. And I believe it was Curti who famously said, "We know more about what's going on the surface of the moon than inside a souffle." And that's, again, I can't weigh on whether or not that's true because I don't know how much we know about either. But I think it was a group of people that were curious to understand what makes a souffle rise, what are the mechanics, what's happening, let's pick it apart and understand it. And I think that a large number of chefs, certainly myself included, found that field of study not only very interesting but useful. So we've been for probably the last 15 years or so trying to avail ourselves to the information that these people are generating, along with generating our own and some other and other outside sources that are maybe not food scientists per se. And take that information and use it to learn more about what we're doing, to understand how to cook, to understand what's happening to food as we cook it, in an effort, I think, to be better cooks. Well, we have learned a lot. I would say that in the last 15 years, plus or minus 5, we've learned more about cooking than we have in the 15,000 years prior to that. And I think that's exciting to me, and I think that makes for an exciting time to be cooking for any curious cook, for anyone who desires to understand more what's happening to a chicken when you roast it, or a vegetable when you blanch, or a fish when you poach it, in an effort to cook it better and to cook it in a more informed way. Because, again, like taste, there's subjectivity in cooking as well. And I think that that's good because there's no right way necessarily to cook something, but understanding what's happening to it, any given object while you're cooking it, allows you to make an informed decision about how to cook it. And again, I like the fact that there's no right or wrong way to poach an egg, but knowing what's happening to an egg as it goes from 60 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius helps you make the decisions about at what point you want to start or stop the cooking. And that I find really, really very fascinating. Because to me, knowing mechanically how to poach an egg, but not what's happening to it while it's poaching, is almost an empty knowledge. It's not as useful as knowing, okay, the egg white proteins are coagulating at this temperature and the yolks are coagulating at that temperature, and so I can control this and that. And knowing the variables and understanding the variables, I think it makes anybody a better cook.